You guys, welcome to episode number 2 of the Derby Career Mode Live, and to start off this episode, a lot of things have happened between the two episodes, and I'm quite surprised from EA because I wasn't expecting this squad update until maybe a week later, so very surprised indeed that it did come literally as I was about to I've recorded episode 2, and then I went to edit it, and for some reason I went on Ultimate Team and it said squad update is available, so check the Derby squad, and there you go, Jordan Ibe is in the team. And because of that, I decided to do a new formation, which might look a bit crazy when you look at it, but it makes sense for what players we have and what I want to play with. So there's, in this reserve slot, there's not really anyone, maybe like Holmes and Marriott I'd like to play a little bit more, Buchanan of course, but I'll get to that in a minute. Basically the only player that has to kind of move out of position that's not 100% natural to him is Nathan Burton, and he can quite easily go into that right midfielder role if need be for Jordan Ibe, because it's quite a defensive role, these left mid and right mids, especially the right mid. I played one game in the pre-season and Jordan Ibe was essentially playing like a right back, whereas Goswiak was quite high up on the left, so not too sure how it worked, but it was very effective, the game that I did play with it, and obviously it just gets everyone involved. So in terms of personnel, the only difference between this and the formation that we were potentially going to use in the first episode, I think the False 9, I've brought in Jordan Brown as a centre-back. I've changed him to a centre-back already. Main reason for this, instead of Buchanan, he's right-footed and he's quite a bit taller. I think he's at least a couple of inches taller. So I think he's a little bit more suited to the right back role, and also obviously Matt Clark goes on the left hand side as a left footed centre back, so I think that kind of dynamic works best, whereas before it was two left footers and a right footed, whereas I'd rather have Bielik in the middle as almost a CDM / centre back. So I'm quite excited to see how this formation works. Obviously it means Sibley's a little bit further forwards up the pitch, which hopefully will get him a few more goals, of course. Jason Knight moves into the centre mid slots with Bird, and I think it just makes a lot of sense. Obviously Rooney is one of those where I could move him back to centre mid if need be and bring in a striker, and I think that's what we're going to do to start off this episode. We've had a number of suggestions in the first episode, so I've added those to the shortlist, so let's go over there and have a look. If we just sort this by strikers, obviously Porteous, really good centre-back, 67 rated, 21 years old. Very good jumping, stamina and strength for a very young player. He is injury prone, which is a bit of a shame, but a very cheap price, only a couple of million, so pretty achievable and very, very cheap wages. I don't know if I'll sign him right now because we have got a number of centre-backs. Maybe we'll do like a one out and one in system, because if you have a look at how many centre-backs we've got at the minute, I'll just quickly go back and show you the mass amount of numbers. Obviously we've got the 3 in the team: Wisdom, Tuerick, Evans, Forsyth, Buchanan, Davies, Bateman. So for the time being, if maybe we get rid of Curtis Davis and bring in Porteous, hopefully that's how you say his name anyway, I'm not too sure. But yeah, I think that'll probably happen towards the end of the transfer window if need be. One that is actually linked to us in real life is Isaac Hutchinson from Southend United, and it's not actually a bad shout because we haven't exactly got that many central midfielders, and as he's only 20 years old and only would cost $500,000, it's not really much of a gamble. So yeah, he's got pretty good pace stats, 75 acceleration for a centre midfielder is pretty good. So yeah, I think we'll pick him up eventually. And just a young player just to develop into the squad again. Tom Ince, of course, I've just added him because, I like Tom Ince, and I think he suits the formation that we're going to potentially play. Obviously, he can play either on the right-hand side or the centre-forward roles. Joshua Zirkzee was, is that right? Zirkzee? I think it's Zirkzee, isn't it? Yeah. He was suggested by somebody in the comments, so make sure you leave some comments if you do have any suggestions. I do like him. He's got, good attributes and everything. Maybe a little bit too expensive though. Obviously, if you're going to have to pay towards 6 million, that's pretty much all of our transfer budget, of course. Obviously, we've got Dursun and Junker, the two the two that are linked in real life, and I probably won't sign these players unless we do actually sign them in real life. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in Derby's transfer window. And then this striker is the interesting one, Liam Delap. Now, in the first episode, on that database, he wasn't on the game, and when I updated it last night, realised that he'd been added, and somebody left a comment saying, why don't you bring him back to the club? Obviously he was an academy player here, and we sold him to Manchester City for like 1.5 million, I think. And obviously Manchester City aren't going to use him in this career mode, so I may as well. I think it's the most logical signing. We've also got a number of others in Collins, Austin and Davies, but I think we've got to start this episode off by bringing Liam Delap in. Unfortunately, he's only just moved to the club, but if we do approach to loan, we can bring him in, hopefully. Says Pep Guardiola sitting down. Looks a little bit too smiley. We'll do a loan to buy option, because then obviously we can make it a permanent at the end of the season. Should we go 1, 2... I think just a 1 year, because if I make it a 2 year, then obviously it just makes things a little bit more complicated with the money. Yeah, sure, it's 1.8k, it's not exactly a burning a hole in my pocket. And what was his value? I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was about 900,000. So if we go, I think if we pay what we sold him for, that kind of makes sense. We'll go for the 1.5 million. I know EA don't know that. But yeah, there we go. Reasonable offer for Delap. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So hopefully, so he hasn't signed yet. So he's got to decide whether he wants to join us. Obviously, he's got very good pace stats. He's about 6'1" as well. Yeah, 6'1", right-footed. He's obviously going to have a great potential because he's at Manchester City and is a young player. Probably in the 80s, maybe even the 90s. So really can't wait to see if he signs for us or not. Also, in between the two episodes, I've basically done a lot of the training sessions up to an A grade. So now that I can just simulate these, and we'll get an A star every single time. So that's really good to see. One thing I was worried about that with the training sessions was that if doesn't want to join the club, not just mess me messages up. So that's a little bit annoying. We can, maybe because he's only just moved on the game, he doesn't want to move. So maybe in January or maybe later on in this window, it could be an option. It just makes the most sense, I think, Liam Delap. It'd be kind of cool if we could get him on loan in real life. But I think because Aguero's injured, I don't think that's going to probably happen. So because we are playing the 3-4-3 now, I'm going to be changing Nathan Burn to a right mid. It was only like a few weeks to basically do this, so it makes the most sense, and that way we can get a really good defensive winger on that right hand side. If obviously Jordan Ibe, towards the end of the game, if we just want to make sure we get the win, we can just bring on Nathan Burn. So I think what we'll probably do, as you can see here, we have got the position change option for Tom Lawrence. He's now going to be playing as a centre forward. So obviously there's different roles as a centre forward. There's one in particular. We've got the Bombardier, obviously the great Derby company, train company. Bit random, but yeah. I might go for a Trequartista just because it's... Or do we get his skill moves up? I think if we get him to 5-star skills, that'd be pretty cool. All of them are going to take 76 weeks, so you know it's way over a year. So if anything, I'd like to get him 5-star skills just to make him that little bit more usable towards, you know, when we are in the Premier League potentially next season. If we do get promoted, of course, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. I'll make the decisions, Curtis, mate. You're 35. So yeah, we have got our first game of the season. I did actually play 2 games, which I recorded yesterday, but obviously because now the squad updates come out, I've decided to re-record this episode. And obviously because we've got a new save, we do have new youth academy players. So we do have as our best player, Joel Simula. Can play on the left or right wing, 5-star skills, very good pace and agility and balance. So yeah, he looks quite good. He's finished as well. Then we've got Tabucci, I guess that's how you say his name. Maybe it's not. I'm not too sure. But yeah, he's a centre forward / cam, so suits the system quite well. Good young backup goalkeeper here in Adebola. Pretty good stats already. Then we got Beltran and another goalkeeper. And then we're probably not going to use this Liam Skinner at 39. I might just release him now, to be honest, because there's no point where I'm going to need that card. So let's just release him, because nobody wants a 39 rated player. Might even be tempted to get rid of this guy. Maybe. But yeah, we do need to set up the... that's one thing I do need to do. Set up the youth staff to send out for a new defender. He's actually a better scout than the one before that we had, so we got a little bit lucky with that. So let's go into our first game of the Championship season against Blackburn Rovers. A very tough opposition, actually, to start off our season. Obviously, Armstrong really good at scoring, and Bradley Johnson really good in that midfield. Obviously, it was a bit of a shame we did let him go when we did, but at the same time, I kind of understood financially from the club. We had to kind of let him go. He was a great player at times, you know, just scored some great goals for us. But we did pay $6 million for him, so, you know, it's one of them things where financially... it's very tricky indeed. So I think I'm pretty happy with this starting lineup. It does mean obviously Duncan and Whittaker can basically play off the striker, which is quite nice. It just gives us a little bit more options, whereas before couldn't really get them involved. And obviously Rooney is a striker, we'll have to wait and see how that does. Obviously we are looking to purchase a striker in this transfer window. So I'm not too sure what we're going to do with Rooney when that does happen. Might just move him to a centre forward role and drop one of the wingers. We'll have to wait and see. Another thing that was announced today was Derby County's third kit. Unfortunately, it's not on the game, but because I'm on PC, there's a potential chance. I'm not confirming it, but there's a chance that I could add it as an option, because it is a pink third kit. And it is supporting breast cancer awareness, so that's a really nice cause. And I think if you buy one of the kits, I think like £5 from every kit goes towards the charity. So yeah, I think I'll buy one of those, and it looks really nice. It's nice just to have a little bit of a different kit. So yeah, let's go into the game now. Here we go then. First game of the season against Blackburn Rovers. Obviously, you guys don't know what happened in the fixtures before, so I think we're about the right difficulty from the first two games that I did play before. They are playing a 4-3-3. Obviously, Danny Ayala and Bradley Johnson, both former Derby County players, so it'll be interesting to see how we do against those. Kaminsky in goal is a new goalkeeper for them. I think they paid about $1 million for him. Lenahan, Bell and Nyambe in the defence, of course. Then Travis and Holtby with Bradley Johnson, Armstrong, Chapman and Ben Brereton up front. It'll be interesting to see how they do. 4-3-3 against our three at the back. So yeah, hopefully Jordan Brown gets off to a good start. Jordan Ibe just feels really good. It's a bit of a shame that he doesn't have a player face, even though he had one, you know, at the end of FIFA 20. Like, why not just use that player face? But I'm just happy to have him in the game at this point. I'll just take what I can. As you can see at the back here, Jordan Ibe is essentially going into a right back role. And it's almost like a back five, so I quite like that. So that's something we'll have to look at in the future. Chance here for Rooney to get an early start, but is blocked by the defender. Good little interception here for Goswiak. Bird wins the ball, gets it inside to Jason Knight. Overlap of Jordan Ibe here. Can he get a first goal? Just taken out by Kaminsky. But yeah, this formation, what I quite like about it is obviously Rooney's in an advanced role, Sibley's in an advanced role. And the options out wide are ridiculous, because every time you get the ball, there's an overlapping runner like this one here from Goswiak. Now gets the shot off, and a great save from, I think, his fellow countryman. I think Kaminsky's Polish. Yeah, I really like this formation going forwards. And if we can work out how to properly defend with it, I don't see why we can't win the league. It's actually ridiculous. Chance here for Armstrong down the left-hand side. He's gone around Jordan Brown quite easily. Now into the box with the shot and with the goal. It is their first shot of the game. Blackburn Rovers start the game off nicely. I think it's Holtby, the German midfielder. Yeah, it looks like him with the player face. As you can see, Jordan Brown kind of got turned. Couldn't really do too much. Two runners into the box. And The only concern about this formation is the defensive side, and how the two centre mids support the defence. I'm not 100% sure how that's going to work, but we'll have to wait and see. Chance here for Blackburn. He's turned it around nicely, and it is 2-0 for Blackburn Rovers. It is Ben Barretton, the former Forest man, and yeah, I think just in terms of defensive side, as you can see, I don't know. Obviously, against a 4-3-3, there's 3 attackers against 3 defenders, so I think our midfield need to help us out a lot more. That might just be a matter of changing some custom tactics on the instructions on the wingers. Yeah, at the minute, a little bit of an issue. Also, Jordan Ibe's fitness is a bit of a concern if you have a look at it compared to Josriak. Not too sure how that's going to work. Lance with the ball here, coming inside. Tries to get it through for Nathan Byrne here. Can he get a goal on his debut? No, that's why he's a right back. That's why he probably shouldn't be in those positions. But he's really fast, and obviously, as a defensive right midfielder, kind of like in a, Italian teams do it a lot with fullbacks, just make them into left mids and right mids, kind of like Castagne at Leicester City. So he can play the role. It's just obviously shooting wise, he's not the best. Chance here again for Blackburn to make it 3 and to put that final nail on the coffin. There's no chance of us coming back in this game now. Yeah, I think just defending anyway on FIFA 21 is a lot more difficult. It's a lot more manual. So I think in terms of trying to get results while I'm trying to learn the game at the same time, I think this is only about my 5th game of FIFA. Especially against Blackburn, they're going to be one of the best teams in the league. So we'll just have to reply quickly against Millwall, just to see, hopefully, if this formation does work. I like it going forwards, I just think defensively it needs a bit of work. Rooney does make it 3-1 though, there we go. Goal for Rooney on his debut. Well, not his debut, but debut this season. Yeah, I think maybe just where Rooney is the only kind of concern of this formation because of his lack of pace. I think at strike you kind of need somebody a little bit more mobile. So maybe we'll have to move into a centre forward role and kind of rotate our wingers. Chance here for Byrne to get through. As you can see, the amount of space the wingers get is ridiculous. I've gone for the shot and it's gone into the back of the net this time, Nathan Byrne, on his actual debut. Nice little goal. We have got 5 minutes to potentially... Have we got a chance here? See, I don't mind that. As a right midfielder, I think he can do a great job there. So I think just moving him there makes a lot of sense. So we've got 5 minutes now to get a goal and potentially nick a point from nowhere. Pretty much last attack of the game here. Can Rooney get the ball? Oh, he's just been taken out by Lenihan. And I think that's full time there. Unfortunately, couldn't get the comeback that we wanted, but it was nice to get a couple of goals towards the end and just to reassure the formation a little bit. Position change option here for Jason Knight then, just to make him a little bit more suited to that centre mid role. Just change him to that. It goes up to a 66. That's good to see. We will give him the box-to-box midfield role. Obviously, just get his pace up and stamina. Mainly the stamina. That's the stat that is quite a big factor this year because of the fitness and sharpness of the players, of course. We also have the option to change Morgan Whittaker to a left mid, so we'll take up that because obviously we've got quite a few strikers already. So he'll probably suit that position a little bit better. Probably just do the one with the skill moves just because 2-star skills for a winger just isn't quite good enough. So now that it has been a week since we last went for a transfer for Liam Delap, we'll go for him again. Hopefully this time we are positive. It might be just a matter of him not wanting to sign for the club. We'll have to wait and see. Probably just do the same terms as last time. I don't think any of this actually matters in terms of the player deciding whether they want to join or not. So we'll go for a 50-50 split this time. You see, it's completely random. Like I don't know. They've gone for 999, 990k. I don't know why I say 999. I guess I'll just put it up to 1.4. Just to, I don't know, just to make it hopefully go over the line. yeah, it just makes a lot of sense to bring Liam Delap. I don't think it cost us that much in wages, and it'd be a great little player just to have at the club. Obviously, we don't really have a big tall striker to play up front, and there we go, Liam Delap. I'm quite surprised how, I don't know, maybe that's like the new strict transfer. The new strict transfer options basically means it's a little bit more difficult to get players, but you can still get them if you're if you try enough, then you'll get them. So I'm really happy with that. That is actually really, really good. Probably just drop Waghorn, you know. I do like Waghorn, but he's just not going to grow. He'll be alright for the cup, but I just think like Liam Delap, and obviously Duncan. I could probably drop Duncan, but I kind of want to focus on the youth, so it makes a lot of sense. Doing what we're doing here. So yeah, I think overall I'm really happy with that signing. You know, been playing for Manchester City in real life, so should have at least an 85 potential, and maybe even more, because obviously there's dynamic potential. We'll have to wait and see. See, that's a really good signing. Obviously, fixture-wise, we do have Millwall next in the Championship, who hopefully we can get a win against. That's the kind of team that I want to get wins against. So we'll have to wait and see. So as you can see here, we have actually made a different formation, basically just our backup team, just to show you how much squad depth we do actually have in the squad. And as you can see, it's pretty good. Like, even this second team doesn't include, you know, there's no Waghorn in this team. I could put Curtis Davis in the defence just to increase the overall rating. No Forsyth. Could I play Forsyth at that left mid? Could probably do it if I pulled him back a bit, but we'll keep Whittaker there, of course. I think what I quite like about the tactic that we are playing is I won't need to sign fullbacks, and I don't really want to need to do that. I might look to get Bogle back at some point, but obviously I can play him. I think Bogle's much more of this kind of right wing back kind of role that we've got with Nathan Byrne here, so I think I quite like this formation in particular for that. We are converting Dwayne Holmes to a centre forward just to get him in that position, but obviously he can play on the right mid if need be as well. Yeah, hopefully guys did enjoy this second episode of the Derby Career Mode. Obviously not the results we wanted to get, but I think transfer wise we've done a really nice bit of business. I was actually looking at this guy, and he's gone to Liverpool. It just shows how good he is. So I think he's going to be very, very popular on Career Mode this season. But yeah, the thing is, I don't want to oversign this transfer window just because there has been so many new players into the team anyway. I don't want to oversign and then not have my youth players playing as well. So that's what I'm kind of focusing on. Obviously, Liam Delap was a former Derby academy player, so that means obviously just a little bit more familiar with the squad. And yeah, if we can get these kind of 60 rated players into the 70 marks, then that's great for next season. And I'm not too sure. I'll just show you what I kind of think is the chopping board at the minute. If we just use this 4 here of Forsyth, Josephson, Davies and Waghorn, they're probably the ones that I wouldn't mind selling just because of their age and the lack of potential they kind of have. But I don't mind them as backup players. I think they're just nice to have in case we do get 1 or 2 injuries. But we might need to move a few on. We do actually have new objectives in the board expectations tab, so let's have a quick look at those before we do finish off this episode. Obviously, before we did have the 2 signed 2 defenders, signed at least 3 players younger than 20 with a greater potential than the overall rating of the players currently in the same position. I think that's pretty doable. Within 2 seasons, starting 2 youth players and play them in 10 games. That's pretty. I quite like that one. The one before it was like play 50%. That's quite a bit, but play 10 games. That's more than doable. Brand exposure. Get a streak of 5 wins away league matches. So we kind of can start this now with the Millwall game, which we'll do in the next episode. Replace 3 players from the team. If anyone can clarify what that means, I'm not too sure what... Replace 3 players from the team. That is such a... I don't quite understand that, if that makes sense. Like, what do they mean by replace 3 players from the team? Do they mean you start an 11, sign 3 players and bring them into that? Or... I don't know. I genuinely don't know what replace 3 players from the team means. That is so vague, and I might just do it randomly. I might, maybe it means sell 3 players from the team. If it said sell 3 players, that makes sense, but I just don't know. Within the same season, sign 2 crucial players and make a profit of 27 million. I don't think we're going to do that one. I don't think we're going to be able to achieve that, because that's a little bit unrealistic. I'm trying to think how to do that, because basically what they're saying is sell your players now or in January, and I don't think I could even make 27 million. And then within 3 seasons, the long-term ones are so annoying because there's no actual way of controlling that. It's ridiculous. Gain automatic promotion around 32, and that is about that. So let me just show you how to make 27 million profit from this current squad that I do have. If we go on financial, I do need to look at contracts at some point, just because we do have a number of players expiring. Curtis Davis, Waghorn. I might just let these 3 go. We'll extend Tom Lawrence, of course. Liam Delap, obviously I can sell to buy option. We'll probably do that at some point. Dwayne Holmes will probably extend. Jack Marriott as well. I might let Ravers, Hector and go, because they're not going to grow too much, because they are getting into their 20s now. Wisdom will probably extend, Iden will extend, and Bateman as well. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see when we get there. But in terms of what player value we actually have to make 27 million, our most expensive player is Joswiak, who's only just signed. So that's 5 million. Rooney, I just don't think I'd be able to sell him. I don't think anyone would want to buy him. Matt Clark on loan. Bielik, Wisdom, and then everyone else is under like 2 million. So I don't know where I'm going to get 27 million from. So a little bit of a concern, but yeah, hopefully guys did enjoy the second episode of the Derby career mode. Hopefully, I'm trying to aim for a 4 PM upload time. Hopefully I get towards that. Maybe not for today's episode, just because I've had to basically restart the entire career mode and get things up and running. So now we can basically go full speed ahead and get through this season and hopefully get promoted. So really happy with the Liam Delap side, and hope you guys did enjoy this episode. Leave a like, if you did enjoy it, and see you soon. Bye.